I'm not even kidding. I started. It's so bad. I started Friday morning and I ended Monday, like Sunday midnight.
Oh
That was the
my
longest I went.
god, damn!
Hello, hello.
Yo,
Oh,
hello,
how's it
hello.
going?
Uh, Going well.
How's the
Pretty
I'm
food?
good.
full,
What'd you have to eat?
Good,
What'd you have
as
to
and
eat?
well.
somebody took my map. Oh
No
No
no.
way.
shot.
No way.
No
Okay, so
shot.
I guess everyone knows who Niru is, but to interview him to properly introduce him, the number one, objectively speaking, number one player, not only in GMS, not only in TMS, not only in JMS, but in the entire world.
Yes.
So yeah, guys, we're going to
Hello.
we're going to get into it. Um, Glad to have you on. Honestly, we were talking about this before, and we've known you for a very long time. We've known you
That's
since
the
when we were
craziest
like
part.
10 years old, because we remember
Oh
you on Laugh
really?
at My Dad. Yeah, we played Windia, and we knew you, not obviously not super well, but we knew Gary a little bit, Paufa, and obviously you were a major icon in Windia back in the day on the Laugh at My Damage.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I still
Mhm.
think that was way crazier than what I'm currently doing now.
Really?
Do you think
Like,
This
so?
is gonna be interesting, really.
yeah, so like
Explain.
this is definitely a longer grind for sure,
Hmm.
but back then it was just like so unheard of for like a beginner to really get that far leached wise.
Mm.
And there was a
Hmm.
lot of stuff, like way more stuff behind the scenes that I had to deal with that I currently do now.
Right.
Like, for example, my world is dead. I go to a map, I don't CC.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
in
true. Oh
fact,
yeah.
in fact, I'm probably gonna go back to my channel because those people probably left for their dailies right now.
Oh my god, I
Oh yeah, that
completely
is
forgot
actually a
about
good point.
that. Cause
That is
back
a good
then too,
point.
maps were like full all the time, right? Like
Yeah,
especially at
so
the stronghold, right?
yeah, all you had was really Drill Hall 1 and 2.
Hmm.
And yeah, basically it was just full all the time. And they had 2 times event like every weekend. And if you didn't have your map like Friday, like the day before on Saturday, you were not getting a map. And
Oh
in
my.
fact, sometimes you would have a map and I would just be training as normal and people would just come into my map. Hey, sorry, all the worlds are full. I'm KSing you.
That's
And they would
crazy.
cast me the whole 2 times event.
Oh
There was
my
this
god.
one, like, I don't remember their IGN, something kittens, and they would
Oh.
just cast me the whole time,
Yo,
I
what
remember
the
every
heck?
kittens.
time. And then on
That's
top
so
of that,
funny.
there was still the DC hacking.
Oh
I
my
don't know if you
god,
remember
yes,
that.
Oh
the ads,
yeah,
all the ads,
yeah.
bro. Every
Yeah,
yes. Oh my
and
god.
it was so weird because at the time there was this Night Lord who was ranked one below me. And
Hmm.
because I was leeching my beginner, he was going to pass me anyway. But
Hmm.
for some reason, he took it so far as to having a hacker DC hack me for a month.
Dude.
And it got even more deep than that, where it was like he was begging that hacker so much for that that the hacker just gave him everything he needed to do it himself. And he was just doing it himself on like his laptop or something.
Bro, I remember
So
that.
that's just crazy stuff that I had to deal with back
Yeah.
then for literally
Right.
no reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's insane. It definitely, Maple used to be a much more toxic place than it is now, for sure. At least in that
Yeah,
sense.
it
Mm.
was pretty bad, and it's just like an unnecessary thing that I had to deal with.
Oh,
And
right, for
yeah,
sure.
and that also had a quite a long lingering effect where I just never really talked with anybody ever on the game until like 2017 or something when I eventually joined
Mhm.
like a Lucid party. I was very just solo by myself, not really dealing with anybody because I just felt like
Right.
everybody was like in that negative sense, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So
Right.
I
I
always just
agree.
kept to myself for a long time after that. And
Right.
still to this day, I do kind of do that.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until like Black Mage recent, like 3 years ago, when I kind of got back out of that. But
Right.
yeah, it's very rare that I interact with people in game
You on that
Yeah.
because
No.
grind.
of
You on
all
that grind.
that.
Honestly, there's really no time to really, interact
Like
and do whatever.
naked.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've been offered like countless times to join boss parties. I'm just like, no, I can't.
mhm.
No,
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
And then
That's
people
That.
kept like egging on, oh, we could be the first clear, and then like, I don't care. Please stop
Yeah.
asking me. I barely
Yeah.
know who you are.
yeah.
Like, you know what
Sure.
I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
I'm
like,
sure.
holy crap, man.
So that's
Yeah.
one of the questions that we have. But to start off the interview, I guess we're kind of curious, and I think a lot of people are curious. When did you decide to commit to this grind to 300? Like, when was this something that you're like, okay, I'm going for
All
300?
right. Yeah, so it's kind of weird, right? It was kind of up and down for a bit, but I knew that I wanted to get to 300 from the start.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know exactly how far I would take it as far as like grinding hard every day,
Uh huh.
but I did know right at the start 2 years ago I wanted to push to 285 ASAP.
Yeah, right.
And back then, there was no Destiny Bishop. Bishop has changed a lot since back then.
That is true.
And
Yeah.
you can discredit the grind as much as you want right now with how easy it is and frenzy and all that. But I
Yeah.
trained from 275 to 285 in around 2 months' time as pre-Destiny Bishop
That
with
is
frenzy,
crazy.
averaging
Oh my god.
around I averaged around 220 to 240 bill XP an hour during that time.
Oh my god.
That is roughly what you guys can probably expect to get on reboot
Yeah.
after New Age.
Yep.
So
Yeah, cause we're
I know what
on.
it's like to grind.
Yeah, no, cause
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
Jake is
Grind king.
285 right now. He's going to 290. I'm going to 285. So to know that you went
Oh,
275 to 285 in just a couple of months pre Destiny Bishop is crazy.
Yeah,
That
I
is-
was averaging like around 4 trill XP a day, and I was putting in probably similar hours as to what I have been currently.
Right.
And then after
So-
285, I was just kind of like, I don't know about
Yeah.
this. This is
Mhm.
kind of bad. And then I
Right.
kind of got back into bossing a little bit, and then, of course, shortly after, the goo event or whatever came out, and it had like the lower rune duration, just passive additive skills. And then that's when I started experimenting with bigger maps, because I used the smaller maps that were easy to train at, and I didn't have to really move around.
Yeah.
Then once I figured out like, teleporting around in a circle on a freaking map was like 30 or so percent faster per hour
Yeah,
XP
right.
wise, that's when I was like, okay, 30% increase is quite a lot.
Yeah.
So I think 290 is not too bad.
Yeah. Right.
So from like 285 to like 287, I pushed pretty hard as well. Not as hard, but decently hard. And during that time, I maybe averaged around 300 to 330 bill XP an hour. Right.
Which is crazy. Yeah.
And then by that time, I didn't like to rotate my buffs to be able to one-shot, right? I
Sure.
was really against doing that.
Mm-hmm.
However, I decided to try it out at the Train 2 map. I was
Okay.
like, I'm sick and tired of training at these mobs. The lizard maps were not it back then. They just were not it.
Yeah,
They
right.
were
Yeah.
right.
bad. They were bad. So bad. So I was like, okay, I'll try rotating Infinity, and then when Infinity's out, I'll rotate, Maple Goddess, Benediction, Angel Balance,
Right.
whatever.
Sure.
So I could one shot, right? And yeah, it turned out that was another it was, I think, a little over 30% faster
Okay.
doing that. So I was like, okay, Now all of a sudden I'm getting like 400 to
The
like
ball's starting to
400,
roll, right? Yeah.
yeah, 430 trail XP an hour. I was like, okay, definitely 290.
Okay, yeah.
And then like that must have been like 1 or 2 months in at that map, and then that's when the Destiny update hit in Korea, Maple. I was
Yes.
like, oh, explorers are getting revamped. And I was
Mhm.
like, okay, what does that mean for Bishop? And then I saw what it meant for Bishop. I was like, oh,
So
yes,
then
that
at
is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, right. So at this time, when you're at 290 and you're seeing what's gonna happen with Bishop, you're still in first, right? Like you're still the number one player
Okay,
in all of
so
GMS and KMS at this time.
no, I didn't pass Korea until like, gosh, I don't even remember at this point. It was a while back, maybe 292,
Yeah.
291 or something.
Okay.
But I was not first starting like around December or January. It was like December of 2021 slash January of 2022. And it wasn't because I was getting like out trained. I was putting in way more hours
Right,
than the
right.
Kana, but Bishop was that bad. Like I'm
Dude,
not
Bishop
Oh,
was
even
so
kidding.
bad before. Oh
It
my
was
Yeah, it
that
was.
god.
bad.
It was.
I
They
can't
really
even
were.
remember.
Floor classes were horrible.
Yes.
It was that bad. So I lost it around that time and I gained it back December of last year.
And
But
then
I
now
didn't
you're
hit 290 until about a month before Destiny.
Hmm.
But yeah, when Destiny came out in Korea, that motivated me to just keep grinding hard until
Mhm.
Destiny, right?
Hmm.
Right.
So this
That's kind of
300
how it
push.
works for me.
Yeah, so this 300 push wasn't until pretty recent, right? Where you were like, okay, I'm gonna go all the way to 300. This was like just
Yes.
recently.
Yeah, so after Ignition, right? They changed the 1 and 4 map layouts for Cernium and Hotel Arc,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes,
They
yeah.
changed the layouts. They're not very
Mhm.
good for without Spawn Enhancer, but with Spawn Enhancer, especially that Train 1 map, it goes crazy. I don't
Yep.
know
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
what
Yep.
happened to that map, but it goes crazy. And I
Yep.
actually found that out by accident because after Ignition, I was still at Train 2.
Oh,
So I
Okay.
okay,
Oh.
found
Oh.
yeah.
that I
Oh.
found that out
Really?
by accident because I was just watching some random Korea video about them training or something,
Yeah.
or they were doing dailies or something. I was like,
Right.
why does that train one map look so different? So
Yeah.
then I went one map over, and I was like, holy, they
Yep.
changed the layout.
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly after that, maybe it was at the same time. I think it was shortly after we got the Erda fountain.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what
So now
changed a
all of a
lot.
sudden Bishop has 2 summons. The train 1 map is busted as all heck. And when I was testing it, it was like, okay, you put the fountain in the up right corner, you put the other fountain in the bottom right corner, and
Right.
then I was teleporting up and down, attacking it and all that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, now all of a sudden I can get 49,000 kills, 650 billion XP an hour
Which is
with enjoyable winters.
crazy.
Which is insane. Yeah.
And then
And then
I found out, I was like, man, teleporting up and down is quite a lot of effort. Then I was like, what happens if I just put the fountain there, put the other fountain in the more in the middle, right? And then I just stand there and spam Big Bang and do nothing else. And it turns out I was getting 47,000 kills an hour. I was like, okay. Now all of a sudden I just put 2 things down and I just sit here and spam Big Bang. This is easy as hell.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
That-
yeah, yeah.
That's when I decided,
That's
like
what
I
it's from.
knew I knew I was gonna go to 295 for sure.
Okay,
But
yeah.
then once I found that out, I was like, who cares how long it takes? This is not even hard as hell.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Right.
And then I just kept doing it that way. And then
Yeah.
Odium came out and it didn't really work the same way, eventually I found out about the jumping up and down at alley 2 or whatever, but
And then failed subjects later on.
yeah, and then failed subjects came, and then after doing testing, yeah, it doesn't matter if I jump, teleport up and down in this map or anything really.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
just a
so
matter of keeping infinity up at this point, really.
right. Yeah, so like and I've watched a lot of your a lot of kind of like your journey to 300, but one of the questions that we did have for you was when, when you first kind of not really well, yeah, when you first committed to this grind, how long did you actually think it was going to take? Like did you realize it was going to take as long as it does, or kind of or did you think it was going to take longer?
Yeah, so when it first came out, it was something like if you average 4 chill XP a day, it would have taken like around 5 or 6 years.
Sure.
And I knew like, yeah, it's gonna get faster, and
Mhm.
every like even 10%, 20% faster it gets is a significant time save, right?
Right. Yeah, right.
And I was thinking around the lines of 3 to 4 years, and I was
Okay.
pretty correct on that. It will take around 3 years,
Mhm.
maybe even a little less.
That
So
is
I was pretty correct on that guesstimate, if I
Mhm.
don't say so myself.
Yeah, which is quite insane the grind considering, for a lot of people that might not follow you, it's not just, 3 hours or 3 years of like, a WAP a day, right? It's
Oh
3
no.
years of extreme grinding. So that leads into the next question, and we can kind of we'll go into, grinding sessions and stuff like that, but what interests you so much about the 300 grind? And it can be a simple answer, whatever it is, but curious on that.
Okay, so I grinded to 250 when that was the cap early on. I grinded
Okay.
275 early when that was, the cap early on. I'm grinding 300 when that's the cap early on. I just want to hit it as fast as I can,
Okay.
because the way I
Respect.
see it is it gets me to the next pieces of content as early as possible. I don't have to worry about that stuff. And on
True.
top of that, the more I do now, the less I have to do later.
I mean,
That's true.
true.
I understand that it gets faster and faster and faster,
Right.
but look at the people training now. You guys aren't even like 28. A lot of people aren't even 285 now. I was
True.
285 2 years ago.
That's
You are
crazy when you think about that. That's
You're
actually
not
insane.
wrong.
Oh my god, that's
Because
Like
crazy.
everybody's bum rushing to it, and I'm like, been there, done that.
True,
Yeah.
true.
You're absolutely correct. And I mean,
And
me and
I grinded at that 200 to 240 bill XP an hour rate. You guys have it a lot better than I did.
yeah, no,
True.
and he's not wrong, right? And you saying that and putting that in perspective, like you were 285 2 years ago, I consider myself a pretty good grinder, pretty hard grinder in this game. But comparing to you, it's like a sand at a beach, a pebble of sand at a beach in perspective. Because yeah,
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
it's insane. It's insane. So, speaking of insane, the next question that I had was, and I think a lot of people are curious. I know I am about this question. Is how long was your longest ever grinding session straight? Like no breaks, no nap, like just straight through.
Holy. Back in my deviant years of 2013 to 2015,
Oh, so this is way
I
back.
He's
This is
been
10
doing
years
this.
ago. Okay.
I can't do it now. I can't after the 30-hour mark now. It gets impossible nowadays.
Yeah,
But back
yeah.
then, I'm not even kidding. I started. It's so bad. I started Friday morning and I ended Monday, like Sunday midnight. That
Oh
was the
my
longest I
god,
went.
damn. Holy. Wait.
How many hours is that?
Yo, so
Wait, how many
that's
hours is that?
I think it
that's
was around 60.
Oh
60
my
hours
god, that's
straight.
crazy. Holy. So you've been
Oh
a
my
grinder.
god.
You've been a grinder as well.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
Holy.
Yeah,
Wow. I wasn't
it
expecting
was
that.
when I was a bit younger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Let's just say that.
Yeah, I don't have the hours in you now like you
Yeah,
did back then.
true.
Which I mean, obviously now the hours are still crazy, but that that's a long time. That is a long
Yeah,
time.
and it was because, back then you just held down Angel Ray. You had the macro and the skill tab, macro ray, shining ray, or macro
Yeah.
ray, Angel Ray, shining ray, and that's all you did was hold that key down and you
Right.
basically won.
So
So it was easy.
Yeah. Right.
obviously that was a while ago, but like I don't know if you can put it into perspective because it was such a long time ago. But how do you like start getting towards like that end of the grind, like those hours, like towards the end? Like, are you just like not there, but you're just like muscle memory, just doing it at the end
It's
there?
actually like in the middle is the worst for me. The start goes really good, the
Mm-hmm.
middle goes really bad, the end typically goes pretty good.
Okay.
I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
why that is, but just sometimes in the middle it just gets really hard. And I
So
think it's because, after a little bit it gets hard, but then in the middle you kind of are like zoning out and you get a
yeah.
little bit of rest in. And then
Mm-hmm.
after you get that little bit arrested in the middle, it pushes you towards that end, which is why I think the end goes smoother and
Yeah.
the beginning goes smoother for me.
Were you
Right.
expecting on grinding that whole 60 hours straight? Like, was that something you had planned out, or was it just something that kind of came as you went? Like, you just were grinding, and then you're like, okay, we'll just add another 10, another 10, another 10, or did you have this all planned
Uh,
out?
it was, it was just like at that time I just couldn't really bring myself to stop unless because at the time I had somebody who would leech my beginner when I slept.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't going to be around for the weekend, so I felt as though I had to make that up.
Okay, yeah.
So I just kept going, and then I was like, okay, it is now like midnight at Monday, and he came back, and I was like, okay, I think I will take a rest here.
Yeah. So you just would have kept
Oh,
going too if he didn't come back. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, it
Oh
was it
my
was pretty
god.
crazy.
I think that
I will
might be.
never do anything like that again.
Yeah.
right.
Right. Cause
Yeah, I think that
that's
might be one of the longest grinding sessions in Maple,
yeah,
honestly.
that's very impressive. Cause we recently just did a 24-hour stream as well, and I was training probably for like 20 hours of that, and after that I felt like out of it. So I can't even imagine like a 60-hour grind, like multiplying that
Yeah,
by three. That's crazy.
Hmm.
yeah, I don't recommend it.
So for people who don't know, how many hours per level does it take you at your current level at 296 right now?
Okay, so it's so skewed now because of everything, but
Mm-hmm.
295 to 296 was around 1500 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So technically this level would take around 1650.
Oh
But
my god.
because I'm not using enjoyable winters, the 1.5 ice
Yeah,
buff that you can
right.
buy,
Uh-huh.
it's not worth using them right now because there's a 285 area. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have unlimited of them in my server by any means.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
I'm not using them. That puts me at a 12% deficit. So now you're taking whatever 12% of 1650 is, add that up. So maybe around
Mhm.
1800, 1850 hours for this level.
Holy.
Man.
And then
Holy.
and then 297 to 300 is kind of a gray area. I don't know about
Okay.
the 286 job, 285 area, how much it will speed it up,
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
but it has the potential of being around 65 to 70% faster at the level 289 monsters than what it currently is right now.
Right.
With enjoyable
Wow.
winter, the XP reduction, the extra
Mhm.
mob XP.
So then
Wow.
Yeah.
what would happen, let's say, like, have you ever thought about if like Frenzy Totem would ever get removed?
Oh
Would you
yeah.
still be on this grind? Like, would you still be down to
Oh no,
300?
not
Oh,
even
okay.
not
Really?
it's not worth it at
Okay.
that point
Okay. I didn't know
because
that.
you're taking a 3-year grind and now you're multiplying that by 2.5 times roughly.
Oh my
No, thank
god.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that. Oh my god.
But I will
Wow.
say if it gets removed and I'm level 298 and above, I will finish it off. But before
Okay.
then, no.
Yeah,
Sure.
right. I mean, that makes
Okay.
sense, to be honest. Like, I can't imagine
Mhm.
doing 2.5 timesing the grind that you're already on right now. Holy.
Yeah.
Hmm. So speaking about
No frenzy,
grind,
no fun.
yeah, right. Yeah, right. Speaking about grinding, and this is a question that I actually ironically had before this whole situation had arose, and when me and Joe were kind of mapping out questions, I laughed when I saw this on there because I was like, oh my god, this actually just happened. It's such a perfect question now. The question that I had was thoughts on people who bought a macro and claimed to be legit.
Oh my
Especially at the
gosh.
top.
Holy crap.
And I had this question before all this just happened, by the way. Like this was a question that was on the list, and now it's just the perfect question.
And if anyone who's not
Yeah.
watching, well, let's for people who are watching right now as well, recently, what was it, the rank 2 and 3 and 4 just got banned for macroing?
3, 4, and 6.
Holy.
4.
Okay. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on people who bought macro and claim to be legit?
So, I don't know much about that Kana, to be honest. I really don't. But that Night Lord, people have told me that they have quite a bad reputation over in Barra. And
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that Night Lord was the same person, right? On both those accounts. Like with the XP and everything. So that's one of those cases where the guy was clearly macroing. I had a video of it. People were sending me the video. People were saying all this stuff about him. Guy was known for like kill stealing and all this and claiming he wasn't a macroer. And well, look what happened, right?
Yeah.
Goes around, comes around.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
crazy. What
Rumors.
the heck?
You
Yeah,
sometimes tend to
so
be true.
Yeah.
So I don't really know anything about the Kana, but that Kana had the most crazy 24/7 scripting I've ever seen in my life. It had easily around 4,000 hours for like 6 months straight.
What?
I don't know how that is allowed to even come close to being happening.
Oh
like,
wait, it was just
existing.
training for 4,000 hours straight, just nonstop.
Like it had to have been. Their XP graph
Yeah,
was the
what?
same for 6 months, only ever losing XP when the game got shut down for maintenance,
Oh my
regardless
god.
of what time that maintenance was at.
Wow.
And I saw that. I saw that for the first like 3 weeks in January. I was like, this does not look right.
Right.
And I was reporting that Kana for months. I'm not kidding. Like
That's
Crazy.
insane.
it-
What?
it felt really bad training because they were getting either more XP than me, the same XP than me, and they were just autoing the whole time.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it was like, why do I even train? Why don't I just auto like this guy if they can
Mhm.
do it for this many hours this day
Yeah.
every day, like whatever.
And the crazy
you
thing
know-
is that you were keeping up with that person as well, right? Like I'm pretty sure you were maintaining, if not
Yes.
beating out that person as well.
Yeah, it pushed me to train more than that person because I knew it was like from the start, like there's no way. But
Right.
the other part of me was like, okay, it's this much XP per, like that XP they were getting per day, I knew was possible, especially as a Kana. I was like,
Right.
they could be just going that hard. They could be. But then all of a sudden,
Right.
holidays started popping up. Nothing
Mhm.
changed. Maintenance, they kept getting lower XP. And then all of a sudden, people told me what map they were training at. People told me what guild they were in. People were telling me all this stuff. And I was like, okay, at this point, there's no way. Everything pointing towards it. The only thing that I was really missing was a video of it. I never really got a video of them macroing or botting or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But everything pointed towards it. And
Right.
turns out it was true.
Right, yeah.
I mean, when you're in the space as deep as you are, it's probably pretty easy for you to fish out someone who's either legit or not legit, you know.
Yeah, like I know what is realistically possible, and
Right.
that was just there's no way.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I get it, you can maintain that stuff for a while, but 6 months and that map, that's like a 20 to 23 hours every day of worth of XP. they're
Yeah,
getting.
that's crazy. What the heck? Yeah. Wow. I heard you mention it earlier too. You said like, why am I even training? Like this person is macroing and botting. Like, has there ever been a point in this 300 grind where you're like, I just can't do this anymore. I just kind of want to give up or I just want to quit? Has that ever like floated around in your mind a little bit?
I never wanted to full stop. I
Mm.
definitely took like after 287, I started having more stuff to do IRL, which
Mhm.
kind of backed up my training a bit, and I really just like slowed down my training quite a lot.
Yeah,
But
right.
then, like I said, shortly after Destiny got announced in KMS, and I was like, okay,
Mhm.
let's man up. Let's let's continue doing it. Let's not
Yo,
be lazy.
yo, that's crazy.
Yo,
Respect,
yeah,
bro.
that is,
Respect. Seriously,
yeah,
like it is a
actually.
huge commitment and huge just yeah, just commitment and dedication, like for real. Like I don't think a lot of people really understand like that it takes like a lot of
Yeah.
discipline, commitment and just dedication for real. It really does.
Yeah, like I'm not one to just give up on something that I set out to do, right?
Yeah, right.
If I want
Mm-hmm.
to do it,
Well,
I'm gonna go for it. I don't care what
right,
people really say or think about it. It doesn't really matter to me because
right,
I know what I want and I know myself
right,
more than what some random dude is saying.
Yeah, right, right,
right.
right.
Yeah,
So
which is
yeah,
the best way to do things. Yeah, no, for sure. And we've always talked about you in stream, and one of the biggest things that I've always said was, it's grinding long hours, whatever, right? But the consistency is the craziest part about it. Honestly, being consistent with it is the craziest thing about it. How do you do you have a schedule for yourself for like what you kind of want to do? I know you kind of like now you want to try to do a percent a day, but is that always kind of how it's been?
it really hasn't. In fact, the percent a day isn't really even a goal. It's just I'm training the same amount every day. It's just
Okay,
that happens to be how long it takes to get a percent.
Yeah, right,
sure.
right.
It's just
Okay.
easier for me to say I'm just grinding percent a day because people ask it all the time. I'm like, how long are you training for? I don't know. I'm
Mhm.
I
just
feel
gonna
like
get a percent.
I feel like that's why you've been
Right.
able to keep up the consistency because you don't set a specific goal. Because I feel like a lot of the time in
Yes.
this game, people they'll set these milestones that they need to hit every single day or at the end of the week, and then if they don't hit them, they feel bad, or they just completely burn themselves out trying to hit these unrealistic goals that they set for themselves. So I feel like that's one of the reasons why you've been able to keep up this grind for as long as you have been.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. Is I used to set goals, and you're right. Like some days are just simply gonna be better or worse than others, especially in this sort of long endurance grind. That's just
Mm,
kind of how it is, right? And when you
mm-hmm.
set a goal like, okay, I want to get this much XP a day, this much percent. On your
Right.
bad days, you're not going to be able to do it, and then you feel really bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that has
Right.
happened to me. So I was like, there's no point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
Right.
going to train the same amount of time every day, and
Mm-hmm.
then whatever I get is what I get.
Right, right.
Right.
And then
And it works out pretty well. Because
yeah.
that's exactly what I did grinding at 285 back then. That's exactly what I started doing since those people got banned.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like everything's been pretty consistent with my XP.
Mm-hmm. Are there days too like where you just don't train at all? Like are there days where you just don't feel like training, or is it like a pretty consistent like day to day?
Oh, absolutely not. There's no room for breaks. That's how you start getting lazy.
Okay, okay.
It's like,
You're
okay,
not
I
wrong.
don't I don't want to do it today. And then the next day comes like, man, yesterday was so chill. Today,
You're
maybe
not wrong at
tomorrow.
all. You're not wrong
He's
at
not
all.
wrong. He is not wrong. That's
Mm-hmm.
that is
Yeah,
the very
so
realistic thing that
there's
happens.
no breaks. 300, I can take a break.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I guess does grinding to 300 for you right now feel like a chore, or is it still like enjoyable? Like you do enjoy the grind, you look forward to hitting level 300, or does it feel more like a chore? Some days, I guess.
Nothing I will ever do will ever feel like a chore for me. If
Okay, I
I
like
don't
that.
want to do something, I will not do it.
I like that. Yeah, that's really
On
yeah,
this
good.
game, if there's something that comes up like up for an event or
Yeah.
whatever, if I don't want to do it, I won't do it.
Preach.
Right?
Yes. Thank you.
So
Yeah, for real.
That Misty Island is a good example. You got an
Yeah.
absurdly good totem. The
Mhm.
event took too long. I didn't do
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
care.
Mhm.
Right.
Big deal. Wow, my account is all ruined. Darn.
And
Oh,
people
yeah.
actually
Wow.
do act
What a
like that.
shame.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Advice.
I enjoy doing it. I do look forward to getting 300, and with New Age, it's motivated me even more. The people getting
Yeah,
banned
right.
motivated me even more. So I'm just
Right.
gonna keep on going
And
because now it just shaved off like, oh, this update just happened in Korea. Oh, there goes 5 months off my grind, took it off just like that. Okay.
Right.
yeah,
True.
100%. Someone in our chat asked a question that I'm a little bit curious as well. Someone said, "Can you ask him what does Maplestory mean to him? If you do grind all the time, do you look forward to the community events, bosses, equips? Do you love the cube? Is there anything that you do enjoy, or is it really just like that training aspect? Like you really are just set on 300, and that's really the only thing that you are enjoying currently in the game?"
Okay, so my biggest thing is I like collecting permanent NX. I do.
Okay. Okay. Yes, that's
Sure,
I
weird.
have
Yeah. Yeah.
quite an
Yeah.
extensive collection of permanent NX.
Okay.
And it started back in 2015,
Yes.
2014. Every week they would
Dude.
have cash shop sales that would sell
Yep.
permanent NX for 1 to 3K each. I would just buy all of them. I don't think I wore half of them or even 1/3 of them. I would just buy them to have them.
Yeah. Right. Cause
That's the most fun I have.
yeah, we were talking about this earlier too. We said we thought, well, we didn't know, but we thought like you look like someone who collected stuff as well, like in game, like you were collectible. Do you have collectibles as well? I know you said permanent X, but do you also have like the in-game collectibles?
Oh, okay, like the old stuff, right? Like the
Mhm.
raccoon mask and all that
Yeah.
jazz. So when I was playing this game, like back then and going forward, and still to this day, I don't get sentimental to any of that old stuff. So no, I
Okay.
don't really. I'm the type of person that just, oh, I don't need this, I drop it.
Okay.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
that's an unfortunate thing that I did that because I don't know if you remember that one event where it gave like the 10% XP earrings.
Oh.
So I was like, I was max level at the time. I was like, I'm never gonna need these again,
Oh.
and I just dropped them.
Oh, man.
Yikes!
That would have been nice nowadays.
It'd be
Yeah.
like that
well.
sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Mm.
Indeed.
I probably should try to contact support, but I'm too lazy.
Yeah. You
They
got other
have
things
given
to
me
do
some
about.
stuff back in the past, but
Right.
I'm too lazy to look up the name even or whatever it
Mhm.
was called.
I'm curious if
Mhm.
Nexon has ever reached out. I'm surprised they haven't. Well, I guess I don't know, but have they reached out to you personally about like the grind of 300 or said anything at all? I'd be surprised if they haven't.
The one thing that I did was I applied to the Pink Bean Brigade and they denied me. And
What? Yo, that's
What?
crazy. There's no
What?
way. There's no way. How?
What? How is that possible? How
It wa-
is that
If I
possible?
had to guess, it was that April Fool's stream I did. That was kind of a bad thing.
I
But
mean, either
Oh, well.
way,
It doesn't matter.
like, we're not in Beam Brigade either. Honestly,
Yeah.
no Beam Brigade, whatever. Like, I don't know. It feels
Yeah.
like they're just, I don't know. They're
That's
kind of off when it comes
insane.
to Beam Brigade. I feel like,
Wow.
wow.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
that's all right.
Yeah, no
I
worries.
think I was thinking about it like, yeah, that would have been cool. That NX per month would have paid for all my Monster Park tickets. But
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like I just wouldn't put in the effort that they would want. Like they would tell me to like go on the test server or whatever. I'm like, man, I just kind of want to train right now, you know? Like,
Yeah,
I really want
yeah.
to do all that.
Hmm.
I
Right.
feel like I wouldn't last very long on there unless I don't know how lenient they are or anything, but probably for the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Probably.
Mhm.
Probably. So one of the other questions that I had on here, I was kind of curious about, and I'm sure maybe you have in the past, but did you ever consider reboot? And if you were on reboot today, do you think you would be doing this or attempting this grind? I know you said without the totems, but there is the extra EXP we do get.
Yeah, I actually think if people on Reboot were grinding as hard as I was from the start, you'd be seeing like a Reboot player well into the 297 right now.
Mm,
Really?
okay.
With that,
Wow.
people were quite honestly getting double my XP per hour like 2 years ago on
What
Reboot
the
from what
heck?
I
Wow.
saw.
Wow.
But when Reboot came out, I was actually, at that point where I could solo, which like the end game bosses, like I think at that time was like Hard Magnus and CRA mostly,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and I was quite well situated when it came out, and I was like, I don't really want to restart my account.
Yeah, right. That
And
makes
that's
sense.
basically how it came to be at the start. And then now at this point, it just there's no real benefit for me playing reboot over my Aurora character.
Yeah, of
Right.
course.
Because
Now it's like
now
out
with
of the picture.
everything that has come out, you know, like for example, I bought the battle pass on both my accounts. Just spend the
Mhm.
money so I got grinding, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Can't
Right.
do that on reboot. I just bought the new Nightmare full set in the auction house.
Mhm.
Reboot, I probably would have had to open 6,000 boxes.
You literally, yeah.
Right. Right.
So there's just no. I don't see any benefit as an endgame non-rebooter to play in reboot
Yeah.
because the market adds a lot for an endgame player
Mhm.
in
Right.
non-reboot.
Mhm.
I agree.
It just
I
kind of
agree.
does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now I agree. I don't think it would even make any sense for you to even consider reboot. Maybe as like something you worked on as a side project at like 300, but currently right now, yeah, I agree. I don't think there's any reason or rhyme to
Yeah.
come over.
Yeah, like I said, I'm really into collecting the permanents, and it's a lot easier in non-reboot.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a lot
yeah, yeah.
easier. Yeah, right. For sure. One of the other questions, since you're such an older player and you've been so consistent with the game, you have a lot of game knowledge, I guess, in terms of just like the overall growth of the game, and you've kind of seen it where it was years ago until today. What are some changes that you personally would like to see in Maplestory?
Oh gosh. So let's see here. The biggest problem right now is, in my honest opinion, progressing in non-reboot without pay to win. It doesn't need to
Mhm.
be as powerful as it is in reboot, but like, come on, it's so bad, especially in GMS. You could
Mhm.
have totem and everything spamming all day like I am, and
Mhm.
it still took me like 300 to 400 hours of grinding to cube 2-line bonus pot with
Oh
that
my
meso that I
god,
earned
yeah. Oh my
Wow.
god,
on my
yes.
berserk.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's
Oh, I
like
remember that.
that
Oh my
bad.
god, yeah. I remember that video you put out. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
and then
insane.
to finish the main pot, that was like another 30 bill. That's like 150 hours right there, just to cube the main pot. Like it
Yeah.
needs to be quite a bit better than that, because that's
Yeah.
absurd. Because that's grinding hard every day with a frenzy totem, all that.
Mhm.
Right.
Most players will not have the frenzy totem. Most players will not grind like that to finish one item. It needs to
Yeah.
be improved significantly. Doesn't need to be as good as reboot, but like, come
Right.
on,
Yeah, I
Throw-
agree.
throw us a bone.
Yeah.
I agree. I
Right,
agree. I
right.
agree. That is quite unreasonable.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. If I had Joe, did you have any question off the top of your head that you could think of right now?
One question that like this is a pretty big question that I know a lot of people are curious about. I'm very curious about as well. I know you've mentioned this before, but what are your plans after you
Oh,
hit
yes,
level 300?
yes.
Oh yes. So after 300, I need a break from Maple.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do.
yeah.
For sure.
However, I'm not gonna full stop. I do want to upkeep with events for my beginner. Give him the potions from events.
Hmm.
I want to upkeep my sacred symbols on my bishop. That's all I
Okay.
want
Hmm.
for a while. That's what
Yeah.
all I'll be doing on Maple for a while.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
And I
Of
will
course.
be playing a lot of older games, and
Hmm.
I'll be playing a lot of games. I've always kind of been a variety gamer my whole life,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
playing a lot of different games.
Yeah. What are some games that you're looking forward to play? Or what are some games that you're currently grinding?
So I
Mhm.
have quite an extensive N64 collection.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be playing a lot of N64 games. Top of my list would be the Zeldas.
Okay.
Oh,
I
nice.
think
Oh, nice.
then I'll probably have it be a thing where I'll pick a few games and have people vote on it. So I have
okay.
around I have like 90 games in the library, so
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I do want to play and maybe beat all of them if possible.
That would be cool.
Are
Yeah,
you,
that would be really cool.
Are you a Zelda of the Wind Waker fan?
That was actually the last Zelda that I like fully played through and 100%ed.
Oh,
Because
okay,
after
yeah.
GameCube, I kind of ventured off into the Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
So that one was good, yes.
Yeah,
GameCube
it's
was
one of
kind
my
of like my
favorites.
last Nintendo system.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite GameCube games for sure. Oh, somebody asked a question. This is actually a good question because I'm curious about this too. I feel like you're gonna be one of the first people probably to finish, or maybe you won't be. Maybe you'll sell it. I'm not sure. With the hexacores, do you plan on upgrading those when they come out,
Ah,
Mm-hmm.
well,
or be the monopoly in the market?
I was thinking about that too. It seems like the only thing that I could really get out of it that will help training is the new skill.
Yeah.
Like everything else seems to just give like the fifth job skills more final damage. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm gonna need it for training.
Mm-hmm.
And if I remember correctly, when Note Stones first came out in fifth job, they were like 200 mil each. So
God.
I think it would be the smart play to just get the new skill, the full map attack, to the point where it can one shot, which I'm assuming will be very early on,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
then sell them for a while
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
I
makes
agree.
until the
sense.
price kind of stagnates.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm pretty down bad. These enjoyable winters are expensive.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah. How much do
There's
they
not that
cost right
many of
now?
them.
You're hoarding them,
I-
right? Like you're stocking up.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
oh yeah. I'm saving them all to the 285 area. They're like 100 mil each.
Oh my God, what the heck?
So
That's expensive, right? Like that's 30 minutes, right? A piece.
30
Wow.
minutes each, yes. So all my meso basically gone per hour.
That's
Oh my.
crazy.
But it's my fault really. Every other server they're like 30 to 50 mil each. Like if you go in every other server, they're literally 30 to 50 mil each. It's my fault
Right.
because I would buy out all of them in the auction house, and then people were like, "Oh, well, there's none left. I'll upprice it," and I would just keep buying them, keep buying them, keep
Yeah.
buying them.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, at some point, they got to the point where there's none in the auction house. Then people started putting them for like 140 mil each.
Oh
I was like,
my
okay, no, 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 no,
Yeah,
no.
right.
So I
Yeah.
put my foot down.
Yeah.
I'm not going above 100 mil.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, of course. It doesn't make sense for you to buy them above 100 mil. It's just insane at that point.
Yeah, like Jesus Christ. Like you guys should be thanking me, man. You guys are getting like
True.
double the price on them. Why are you trying to get 140 mil off of one buff
Just
that
greedy.
you probably didn't
yeah.
even realize you had?
Mm-hmm. Right, right.
Yep, that is greed right there for sure.
Mm,
Our manipulators.
Yeah, you
Yep,
hate to see
pretty
it.
much. But I'm trying to think. Yeah, I know this has been super interesting. Honestly, I was really excited for this. Because like I said, well, first of all, we knew you from such a long time ago. You didn't know us, but we knew you, and I've kept up with your stuff over the past like year and a half, 2 years. I was actually really excited that you did start streaming because me and Joe would always talk about. We're like, you should definitely stream. Like, there's so much
Mhm.
potential there. Just to like, if you're gonna be doing it, might as well stream it. Even if you're just just doing your thing, it's still another avenue of something to gain more eyeballs on what you're doing.
Mhm.
Yes, for sure, for sure. Yeah, that's kind of what I saw. I was like, because people were starting to say that, and I wanted to do it for a while, but I guess I just kind of forgot about it.
Mhm.
And then people said it in like some video comments. I was like, you know what? They might be right. And then I was like, yeah, I might as well do it at this point.
Yeah,
So,
right,
yeah,
right.
I was like, screw it. And then yeah, it was kind of rough at the start because I kind of felt like people didn't realize like my way of approaching the grind. People seem to think it looks really bad, but it works for me.
Right.
That's
right?
the thing,
Right.
yeah.
I've been doing it for years upon years upon years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So at first I was like, oh man, it's kind of annoying how people are looking at it this way, but now I don't care.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like,
you
I
just
know
tend
what
to-
I'm doing. I know how to do it.
Mhm.
It's gonna get done. I'll prove those people wrong. It's
Yeah,
that simple.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, too, it's like people you know, they don't understand a lot of things as well. Like they just see like grinding to 300 and they're not like, oh, he has a goal to hit, you know. They're just kind of like, oh, well, it's not possible for me, so surely it can't be possible for someone else.
Oh yeah, that's always the mindset, because like there's always people that's assuming the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have Lucana, right, who's second right now.
Yeah.
He was putting in like half, even less hours than what I was training, and people were still assuming this, and that, and this and that. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Right.
Like that's not even close to being like anything bad at all.
Yeah. Right.
So
Right.
it's just not really worth your time and effort to pay attention to those people.
Mm-hmm.
It just, it's like,
Good.
why do I care what somebody like that has to say? They're just like
Yeah.
doomed.
It's good advice. It's
Doom.
good advice.
True.
Doomed. Doomers.
Yeah.
Legit
Yeah.
doomers.
Mm-hmm. Doomers run ransom in Maple and every MMO, to be honest. But yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, like holy.
Yeah. Sometimes something is as simple as you just have a goal and you're determined to hit it. There doesn't always have to be something crazier behind it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is just that simple. I want to reach max level as fast as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
agree. Our chat wants to see a gear check. I don't know if you want to show your gear.
I have a command in my thing. If you do
Okay.
exclamation
Oh,
point
okay.
gear,
Okay.
Okay.
it
Nice.
shows it off. Yeah.
Okay.
I do have
W.
an earring that I'm working on, but unfortunately, because the 285 area and my meso being all spent,
Mm-hmm.
it's not gonna get done for a while.
Yeah. Right.
I just have to finish. I just have to finish the main pot, but that's. I just don't have meso to work on it at all. So unless I get like really lucky with like the Fairy Bros cubes, it's just gonna be
Right.
kind of stuck there.
Yeah.
And you're all free to play, right? You said.
Yeah.
For the most
So
part?
I didn't really spend a lot of money on this game for gearing up. I really didn't. It was mostly for
Yeah.
cosmetics.
Right.
And it just got to the point, like, with all the stuff that happened in, like, 2020, it just feels bad for me to spend on the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, I
right.
get that the compensation might have made up for those mistakes, but those are pretty massive mistakes to make.
Oh yeah. I
And then
agree. I
the lying about the 2x drop card removal, like, I get it, you know, you want to remove it. I'm not mad about them removing it. I'm mad that they just straight up lied about it. Like,
Yeah.
it's an
Right.
unpopular item. Okay, it's not an
Yeah.
unpopular item. We're removing it for balance reasons now. And then you look at it now that it's been removed for a while, the Mesa rate has gone halved, and it has not helped the economy one bit.
Right. Right. Oh yeah. I agree. I mean.
So
I
at
would
that
be in the same
point,
boat.
I'm not doing it anymore. And it feels a lot better to do it through in-game means. It always has for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I was after like even grinding after I hit max level, right? I was farming elite bosses at Hall of Honor at 250. I'm a bishop. That was the thing I did because you would make money selling protection scrolls from them and other stuff.
right.
Yeah.
So I was grinding other things, right? One of the biggest things that I grinded, believe it or not, was that fish, that Pyanus fish, right?
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah.
thing used to crap out cubes, and nobody was farming it in Windy at the time. Nobody knew about that. I knew about it.
That's
I would
hilarious.
just go through all the channels, kill 2 of them,
The
wait
hidden
an
tag.
hour, kill half of them, wait another hour, kill 2 of them again. I was getting
Mhm.
so many cubes, it was ridiculous. And then it got nerfed, and then I was sad.
Yeah.
That's how I
funny.
started. That's how I started buying like. That's when I started buying like 30% main pot stuff off people. One of the first
Mm.
things I bought, I still have it, was my CRA pants. First thing I
Mm.
bought was 30% CRA pants off of Guildy
Mm.
at the
Okay.
time. So that's how I started making Meso, and I was like, huh, you can actually start buying like main pot equips. I don't have to cube it, because cubing
Right.
it is a nightmare.
Yeah. Right.
And
Right.
that's where min maxing kind of started,
Mm-hmm.
like kind of heavily, because that was absurd the amount of cubes I was getting. Like I'm not even kidding. I couldn't even keep up with superior drops or this.
That's
I was
funny.
doing Kamurki on 3 characters.
What
I
the
couldn't
heck?
keep up because I kept cubing like 2-line unique, 3-line unique, legendary drop rate, Meso, and I had too many cubes. I couldn't keep up with the amount of stuff I was getting.
Mm,
So I ended up selling like service, and then service ended up just giving me a metric buttload of mesos, and I started funding my character with that.
Wow.
yeah, yeah, like that. I mean, that's crazy. Like just a hidden text too that no one knows about, especially when they first get released. Like, gotta
Yeah,
use them.
I still think I have like 200 Pioneer Soul Shards from that time. I used to have like thousands of them actually. But yeah, that's just, that's something I did. And
Mhm.
then at 275, 300 got announced. So for 6 months, I would train, well, I would farm for 4 to 8 hours every day at Limit Up for Meso.
Mhm.
And that's how
Right.
I ended up having like around 2.7k enjoyable winters by the time 300 came out. I
Wow.
min-maxed my shield for more magic attack to be able to one-shot easier. And I think I got like one pitch boss item finish at the time. So
Mhm.
Oh my
it is
god.
possible, but it is at that time, the meso rate was like double what it is now.
Mhm.
So
Right.
it was
Yep.
it was a bit better farming back then than now. But yeah, you just kind of have to
Wow.
take advantage of the stuff and being a little bit more knowledgeable about what to do, what you can do with your meso. That's kind of how my character got to where it is. Like I made this character in '08. I started maining it in 2013, right? So I
Mhm.
have like a decade of
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
character playing.
Uh.
So that's why I'm so far up there, right? It's not like in reboot, right?
Yeah.
You can get there in like a year
Right.
and a half of
Mhm.
grinding. This
Mhm.
took me
Right.
decade.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It is a long grind. It
Wow.
is an extremely long grind for real.
Wow. Well, no, it's been an awesome interview. Honestly, I think a lot of questions were answered that a lot of people had. I know a lot of
Yeah.
questions that I had were answered. No, I appreciate your time. Seriously.
Mhm.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry for the little bit of a delay.
Oh no
Oh,
no
no,
no!
no,
Don't
no.
I
apologize
No
can't
at all.
worries.
You're good,
I
bro.
can't I can't like everything's just random at this point.
Don't worry. No worries at all. Seriously. It gave everybody else who was like coming in a bit later on enough time to get in and make it to the interview. But no, appreciate you, my friend. And good luck and best of luck on the rest of the journey.
Mhm.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yup. Thank
Thank
you,
you for
brother.
having
Yeah,
me.
Of course. Of course.
absolutely. Absolutely. Take it easy.
Alrighty,
Peace.
you guys too.
Thank you.
Peace
Thank
out.
Thank you.
you.
Thank
See you
you.
later, brother.
Peace. Peace.